I mean, you heard the term Team Canada quite a bit during that address to some of these industry leaders here. That was said quite often. Really, in some ways, it sounded like, a locker room speech to rally the troops and create more of an East-West connection between businesses, create trade partners more from coast to coast rather than a North-South relationship. He spoke about the trade minister just coming in from Australia to try and bolster that relationship. He spoke about the free trade agreement that we have with Europe and European nations, but quote, we need to do better than that. And right now, it seems like they're breaking off into groups and are going to talk amongst themselves. Once again, this is about 150 of Canada's top trade partners, CEOs of some of Canada's biggest companies. We're talking about those that lead in business and public policy, as well as Indigenous leaders as well. We have some associations related to, the automotive sector and manufacturers from steel and aluminum. So we just have a whole swath of people from different parts of and different industries and sectors in Canada here, talking amongst themselves. And really, Trudeau's conversations to them and their address was talking about more of a tactical approach they need to take in response to these tariffs that may be imposed by Donald Trump. We know that, he sort of kicked the can down the road to March 4th when he said he's going to implement tariffs on Canadian goods coming into the country, and Canada obviously looking at counter tariffs. So that's really, really bolstered this conversation and this idea that we need to be, Canadian companies need to be more dependent on themselves and their European and Asian and perhaps Australian trade partners rather than the U.S. trade partners. Just a quick number here, looking at some of the trade that goes between Canada and the U.S., we get $3.6 billion worth of goods traded each day. That was in 2023 between Canada and the U.S. So we know that Canada and the U.S. are each other's biggest trade partners. Right now, though, what's happening downstairs from where we are, these leaders in their sectors and industries are shaking hands, perhaps meeting for the first time, brainstorming. It was made clear to us when we spoke to a few of them coming in that there's not going to be anything signed today. There's not going to be, some memorandum or some sort of agreement. What really is today about is creating these relationships and, sort of dipping your toe into the shallow end of the pool, which maybe, may lead up to swimming into the deep end eventually. But, Trudeau also spoke a little bit, Roger, about making sure that this goes somewhere, that this doesn't end today, that you create these relationships within one another moving forward. So that's just a quick summary of what we heard from Trudeau this morning at this Canada-US summit.
Okay. CTV's Kamil, Karamali, thank you for that.